get started.
So, good afternoon, everyone. We're kicking off today's presentation by introducing our topic for today. We will comparing between the advantages between multilateral versus bilateral financial institutions by examining two case studies relating to Kenya transportation projects. Our outline is as follows. The first part, we will examine Kenya Transport Sector Civil Project, which will be presented by Showen and Yuan. And the second part, I and Bright will look at the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Railway in Kenya project. And after that, we will compare the advantages between the two financial institutions. So, this Kenyan Transportation Sector Support Project is financed by the World Bank, focusing on the three sectors: road transport, policy, and institutional building and aviation. The total estimated cost would be $477 million, in which $300 million would be financed by the International Development Association from the World Bank, and $80 million by the government of Kenya, and $97 million by the co-financing between the French Development Agency and Kenya Airport Authority. The project will last for 5 years, from 2011 to 2016. The main objectives are to first increase the efficiency of road transport along the Northern Corridor and the Tanzania-Kenya-Sudan road corridor, and second, to enhance aviation safety and security, and third, to improve the institutional management. This picture is the map of the Northern Corridor, which accounts for a large part of the project. We can see that this corridor connects three countries: Kenya, Uganda, and Uganda. So the first advantage is conventionality. Multilateral financial institutions like World Bank often offer loans that with conditions. In our case, World Bank separates the project into different components, and then we separate it into specific parts, and then it set quantifiable targets to measure the accomplishment of the project. The graph shows one of the conditions in our case, which means Kenya government can only get money and pay the bill after some targets is fulfilled. The conditionality also with monetary will give pressure to the recipient country and push it to complete the project on time and also repay the money. Multilateral financial institutions have more representatives and professionals from different countries and regions. They are more experienced than the bilateral ones, with numerous successful cases in history, especially in governance and institutional reforms. For example, three new authorities like Kenya National Highway Authority were created, and new policies were enacted with assistance from the International Development Agency from the World Bank. The project adopted a road sector governance and integrity improvement action plan to provide greater transparency and accountability to allocate the resources. For example, the policy formulation was separated from the execution of work, which was transferred to the new road authorities. And besides, collecting and tracking information is much easier for them as institutions with numerous branches all over the world. World Bank monitor the results and audit the cash flow effectively in case of abuse money. In this project, World Bank has a team of experts and communication specialists from the bank collaborating with local authorities to visit sites, collect information, communicate with the potential beneficiaries, etc. Even for those countries which need technical assistance, it is more likely that the multilateral ones can help them in a wide range of industries, while in bilateral lending, the range would be restricted to the lending country's competitive industry. As for this project, the objective is not focused on the infrastructure construction, but the improvement of efficiency, safety, and capacity of the road network and aviation system. Bilateral institutions are more qualified than the bilateral institutions are not as qualified as the multilateral ones. They can act as a guarantee to private firms or bilateral institutions that the recipient country can repay the money on time because of its monitoring and conditionality. For this project, for French Development Agency confirmed its willingness to finance component C of the project. EIB has also expressed its interest. But finally, IDA financed 63% of the project, FDA for 20%, and the government of Kenya 13%. Besides, bilateral institutions may rely on the relationship of two countries. In contrast, multilateral institutions are less influenced and the loans are more stable. So lending from multilateral institutions is less likely to be cut off, which means when facing with something emergency or the political conflicts, the recipient country is still be able to be financed. As in the project, World Bank provided additional financing and experts to make a speedy response to an emergency situation at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport due to an accidental fire in 2013 that destroyed part of the international passenger terminal facilities. So this case can be considered as a win-win strategy for both World Bank and Kenya. For World Bank, financing Kenya transportation definitely meets its goals to promote shared prosperity throughout the world. For Kenya, first, the efficiency of road transport will be increased, and aviation safety and security will be enhanced, and also a better institutional management in the transportation sector will be achieved. Also, the improvement of the northern corridor would also facilitate the trade and regional integration in both Kenya and East Africa. Lending from multilateral institutions usually means higher standard of responsibility, transparency, and accountability to repay on time. Finally, the success of the project can also show the country's ability and confidence in its future development, which may attract more foreign investments, whatever may be also in World Bank or in private firms or in bilateral institutions.
We'll continue by introducing our second case, which is the Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Railway project in Kenya. East African leaders have agreed a deal with China to construct a standard railway line for passengers and cargo transportation between Mombasa, which is the largest port in East Africa, to Nairobi, which is the capital city of Kenya, to Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and continue to extend to the South Sudan. This 609-kilometer railway line will connect those destinations above, and it is going to substitute the outdated railway, which was built during the British colonial. I think it was 100 years ago. The total cost of the project is $3.8 billion. What is so special about this case is that the China Exim Bank agreed to finance 90% of the project, while the Kenya government covers the remaining 10%. However, the main condition is that the main contractor of the project must be the China Roads and Bridges Corporation, the CRBC. The project started in 2013 and is scheduled to finish in 2018. This is the largest infrastructure project ever since independence to Kenya, according to the president of Kenya. Now, we have asked ourselves a question: why does Africa choose to cooperate with China in particular, and why China only? Well, by considering the long history between the two countries, China has been establishing good relationship with African nations ever since the 202 BC. Moreover, China plays a central role in financing infrastructure projects in East African country. As the table you can see here, recently they have agreed to finance several projects in Africa, ranging from railway, pipeline, airport in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. Also, China finds Africa to be a key component and a potential player in its One Belt, One Road strategy. The second question we have asked ourselves is that why must Chinese firm be the lead contractor of the project and not an African firm? In order to address this question, we will turn to Bright and his presentation.
Well, just because of the part China is going to use, they have a strategy they call the Go Global strategy, and this strategy is just to promote, provide traditional export credit agencies, credit and direct loans, foreign buyers and Chinese exporters, offers direct credit to strategy industries such as telecommunications, energy, transport, infrastructure, and they are doing this just to increase productivity and then the competitiveness of Chinese companies. That is what they term as the Go Global strategy. And to do this, they have some certain conditions that you have to fulfill before they go into agreement with you. And the first strategy is that one of their strategies is that they bring the Chinese contractors to be the main lead of the company. And in our case, we have the CRBC, which is the main lead of this construction, just to achieve their Go Global strategy. And also, they make sure that 50% of the loan is being spent on purchasing China goods, such as China goods, equipment, and materials, and sometimes their services. And then also, they make sure that sometimes, as compared to the multilateral, they are very restricted in the project just to get their money back. But in this China Exim Bank and with the China, they sometimes take oil or natural resource and not necessarily relying on the project. So like if whether the project will be able to give them back their money or not, they're just not much sometimes really interested in that. They just sometimes they call something the Angola or the oil for loan model, that they give you the loan and you, Africa, you give them oil. In our case, yet it is not specified how much oil they're going to give because of their issue with their disclosure of information. They think that the agreements are bilateral and therefore they owe no disclosure to the general public. And what are the advantages of Africa going straight with the China Exim Bank? One of the advantages is that as compared to the multilateral, they have low interest rates. Example, with the World Bank for the past decade have been giving loans to Africa with 17% interest rate, while the Chinese Exim Bank can go, like they have an average of 3.6%, and they can sometimes go as low as 0.25%. Yet, the problem is in our case, we still don't have the explicit or the actual percentage that they're going to charge on Kenya for the transport. Another advantage is that they have longer repayment period as compared to other multinational companies. They have an average grace period of 4 years and a repayment period of 12 years, and sometimes they can extend it, the grace period from 2 to 10 years, and the repayment period from 5 to 20 years, which is 5 years more than the OECD Exchange Credit Agency's restriction, which is 20 years. And they also give higher credit as compared to the multinational companies or institutions. And in the case earlier on that is being financed by the IDA, you can see clearly that the IDA was taking 63% support, and here you can see that here we can see that China Exim Bank is taking 90%. So in terms of funding, they give much funding to the companies, the countries in Africa. And one key thing that is going on so in the media of Africa is what we call the national sovereignty issue. In Africa, most of the topics people just discuss that these, sometimes they call them supernaturals, IMF, World Bank, the World Trade Organization, they tend to influence in the economy, like political systems. So in this case, trading with China is an advantage because they do not interfere in the business of the country, the political system of the country. And this is a quote by the Ghanaian president that they don't give lecture on how to run your local government and other issues I don't want to talk about. And this was also a quote from the Chinese Premier League. He said, "We will not interfere with Africa's international affairs or ask something impossible of Africa." And then they have less restrictions, conditions like what we've already stated. They just have to get the main constructor from them. 50% of the loan being spent on their product because of their strategy, go global strategy. And then
I will give a quick conclusion of our case. As you can see, this is another win-win situation for both parties. To the China Exim Bank and China, they can facilitate their exports product, like high-tech products, mechanical equipment, technical expertise. They can also create overseas business opportunities for Chinese construction companies. In our case, as you can see, the CRBC is mainly in charge of the construction. They can also strengthen relationship with Africa to gain more access to natural resources and raw materials in order to satisfy the nation's growing demand for energy supplies. Not only that, they can also expand economic influences on the country, encourage trade activities between the two countries. And to Kenya, this project has significant meanings for Kenya, as it can boost connectivity and integration, improve trading activity, especially with China. According to Chinese Premier League, it can shorten travel time, and most importantly, it can reduce flight shipping costs significantly.
So, to summarize what we have presented, we use this table to compare the advantages of both institutions. For multilateral institutions like World Bank, a very clear conditionality can make sure that the country will accomplish the project and pay back the money on time, while the agreement made between the recipient country and the bilateral institutions will leave more space, more flexibility on how to pay back the money. Concerning political sphere, bilateral institutions will not interfere in the policies of the recipient country, and the multilateral institutions can provide more stable financing, even facing emergency situations and political conflicts. The experienced multilateral institutions will be able to monitor the results with a higher standard of transparency and accountability, but a longer payback period, lower interest rates, more funding given by the bilateral institutions may sometimes overwhelm the other demerits. That's the end of our presentation.
Can we have two questions now? Yes. You're representing your team, right? Yeah. Okay, go on.
Yes, so my question was, since the strict connection between the Chinese society that is going to build the railways and the Kenya government, that's just a small part of the project, who is going to control these railway after the construction? The China enterprise or the government of Kenya?
Well, the government of Kenya is going to control the
The railway, so they just build it, and then the Kenya government is gonna control the tickets and everything that came from the railway will go to the Kenya government. Okay.
Next team, different team?
No.
One per team. Yes.
How is China intervention, especially in this project, seen by the local governments and the African government? Do you think it's a really good situation because China does not interfere at all with the local government, and so there won't be internal conflicts between the tribes, African tribes, and China?
Okay, just quickly. The questions have to be one line and typically very short. So,
do you think it's a win-win situation because China does not interfere with internal local policies of African tribes?
is it a good thing?
Yes, it's a very good.
Why?
Yes, because talking about the national sovereignty issue, the people in Africa think that they are losing power to the Western people. Like they tend to control, like what I was saying, they call them supernatural unions, the European Union, the World Trade Organization, and then the World Bank, IMF, UN. So they think that if they go into a bilateral agreement with China, that is more like they don't face. It's like the conditions are not. They just tend to move away from the interference, and that is.
Okay, good. Anthony?
Yeah, so why does the Chinese Exim Bank have lower interest rates than the World Bank?
I think it is just a strategy or a policy that is getting them competitive advantage competitive advantage, and to encourage more African countries to trade with them instead of going to trade with the multilateral companies.
Maybe the other way around, why does the World Bank have higher interest rates? Why can't it lower its interest rates? Considering that it has a bigger budget.
Okay, Anthony, I'm going to allow only that first question, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're not going to, have time for the other teams. Yes, please.
And my question is sort of linked to Anthony's question, but do you think there's a difference between interest rates, like, because the World Bank, they have a lot of expertise, etc. So do you think that one of the two is like sort of mispricing the risk, and that explains the difference in interest rate?
Can you rephrase the question?
Do you think there's a mispricing of the risk by either the World Bank or the Chinese Exim?
Is there mispricing? Are they pricing it too high or too low? Is China Exim pricing it too low? And World Bank pricing it too high?
Well,
their interest rate.
Well, it's quite
Well, actually, for our case, the agreement between the two countries is close. So we're just based on our assumption in general that China Exim Bank generally give less interest rate than multilateral institutions such as World Bank or the IDA, as I've seen from their website of the interest rate data. So we just based on.
I think regarding China wants to transfer its overcomputed infrastructure, and it also wants to build a relationship with African countries. So the permanent rate is low. It is considerable. It can be accepted now, but maybe later it will transfer. It will change its rates depending on the relationship, also depending on the infrastructure industry.
Okay, good. Oh, sorry. You have one team left?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a quick one. I'm just wondering if the China Exim were to pull out of Africa, would other players kind of necessarily fill that gap, and would they have the same advantageous win-win relationship that we do now? Yes. So if China Exim were to pull out of Africa, would other players fill this gap, and would they have necessarily the same win-win advantageous relationship that they have now?
If China Exim leaves, then can somebody else fill the gap?
It is my own opinion because China's GDP growth rate is now becoming lower and lower, and still a cash flow will flow to the related working market. Considering its GDP growth rate can continue the speedy rate. But it's my own opinion.
Okay, good. Okay, now we came back.